Broadcasting live from the Business RadioX studios in Atlanta, Georgia, it's time for Coach the Coach Radio. Brought to you by the Business RadioX Ambassador Program, the no-cost business development strategy for coaches who want to spend more time serving local business clients and less time selling them. Go to brxambassador.com to learn more. Now, here's your host.
Lee Cantor here, another episode of Coach the Coach Radio, and this is going to be a fun one. Today we have with us Lynnea Hagen with the Abundance Company. Welcome.
Well, thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Well, I'm excited to learn what you're up to. Tell us a little bit about the Abundance Company. How you serving folks?
The Abundance Company was created in 2002, and how I serve folks, I work with successful leaders and entrepreneurs who are stuck. They're having a lot of pain because their business is flatlined and they're losing employees and working too hard and that type of thing. So what I do, I help build them from the inside out to be better leaders so that they can build a better business and build better employees. So
what's your backstory? How did you get into this line of work?
Oh my gosh. I've been coaching practically my whole life. It's just natural to me. I started out in corporate with Disney, and then Quaker State Oil, and finally with AT&T. And AT&T, or Pacific Bell, sent me through oodles of education. I already had 2 undergrad degrees in psychology and sociology, but they gave me 2 masters, and one of them is in organizational development. And I decided that what hit me the deepest about working with an organization is serving the leaders, because leadership is inspiring leadership. The right kind of leadership is rare. And I think we've all suffered under a leader that is ignoble or ignorant or inefficient or ineffective or dishonest. And that's a horrible way for people to live and to work. So that's what got me into it, just through my passion for helping others and that type of thing. And then I started my own company.
When you left corporate, were you working primarily with executives of enterprise level organizations, or do you work with small, mid-sized business owners as well?
You know, when I was in corporate, I worked with executives. I had huge companies. I had, Hewlett Packard and Intel, Cisco, a lot of the huge global companies that are headquartered here in Silicon Valley. My background is in small business. I worked in small business. I saw the struggles and the pains by growing up in it, and my heart is with smaller businesses. Although I've had as clients directors of large corporations like Intel, because they have their own kind of like small business within a larger organization. So it's kind of run the gamut, but my heart and my focus, my passion is really on leadership and helping people achieve their dreams, not only for their particular position or their company or their group, but also in their life. And that's why we do what we do professionally, I believe, is to help reach our joy and what it is we're meant to do while we're here on earth.
Now, in your work, you came up with a methodology. Can you tell us a little bit about the biosystem of success?
Yeah, the biosystem of success is something that came to me when I put together all the different things that I was educated in and licensed or certified in. And when I started looking at it, one of them is the one-page business plan. I created it as a pyramid, kind of like the I can't remember. I'm a psychology major, can't remember. But the pyramid of living, and we work up to the top, which is really for me on the top is joy and personal success. And so when I started creating that with a vision and mission and strategies and objectives and projects, it looked like a triangle. But then when I got to a deeper work, I started working with people on what is your purpose for being here? Why are you put here on earth? And this is through the work that I did with the amazing Lance Secretan, who has been lauded and awarded all over the world for the work he does with corporations. And it's all based on purpose and inspiration. So the truth is, purpose runs through everything you do. And when you discover that reason for being here on earth, then you live a different kind of life. You're a different kind of leader, a different kind of worker and parent. So that became something that ran through every bit of the business plan up to the top, where the person is kind of risen to the top of the tree, and they're kind of dancing with joy. So when I put the purpose running through the business plan and up to the top and affecting everything within the business and the people in it, I realized it looked like a tree. What I used to draw for a tree when I was a kid, for a little Christmas tree, a little triangle with a stick going through it. But the purpose runs deep, deep into the ground that supports the tree. And whatever is on top is whatever is flourishing above ground. And this is true, except for redwoods, which are a rare breed. But the purpose system underground and the root system is as large as as the fruit on top. And the truth is, we can't achieve much on top if the root system is being poisoned. And this encompasses the 7 environments of who we are. It's our relationships. It's our relationship with money. It's who we're connected to in our networking, like 6 degrees of separation. It's our spiritual environment, our environment, and our relationship with nature. It's how we're tapping into our DNA and our natural gifts. And it spreads out, and it keeps spreading out. And as those roots spread out, they can be either fed or bled on how well you're taking care of those. And that's what a lot of people don't want to look at in business. But when I give talks to a group of businessmen, and I'm talking about this stuff underneath, by the time I'm done, they're sitting up and listening, because we all know that if we have a fight with our spouse before we go to work, that's going to be niggling at us. It's going to be kind of dragging us down and pulling our full attention and energy away from what we're doing at the moment. And vice versa. If we have a lousy work environment, we bring that home. So it's not a business self and a personal self. It's all one. So we need to take care of all these roots and things that can really lift us up, so it can produce bigger fruit into what we're meant to be doing here on earth.
Now, when you're having a conversation with somebody, maybe at the beginning of your relationship with them, are they self-aware enough, and are they able to articulate kind of the depth of that, and to get that deep into the foundation and the whys behind the whys, and really kind of appreciate that? Or are they coming to you with, I don't know why all my employees are leaving?
The second way. I've been brought in, by an owner of business. He said, kind of fix them. And that's when I was just doing consulting. And then I went into executive coaching, because I thought, no, I need to fix a leader. And so no, most people are not that self-aware. And that's the beauty of doing the work that I do, is to open their kind of their soul and their mind to something that is so much broader than this little space or this little thing they're focusing on, because it's a very holistic world that we live in.
Now, but what does that look like at the beginning? So like the person comes in, like you said, they're like, fix Bob. Everything would be great here if you can fix Bob. Bob, obviously, it's clear to me. I see this. It's right in front of me. Bob, fix Bob. Everything will be good. And then you got to move that person, that Bob is just maybe a symptom, if anything, or maybe it has nothing to do with Bob.
Exactly. Well, when I first have someone sit with me or talk to me about their business, what I started is, tell me about your 3 biggest challenges. And I can intuit, or I can easily see how those are all tied in together into something that's bigger than what he or she is talking about. And that's when I start to turn around the conversation, say, let's look at this from a bigger picture, because you're being kind of, myopic here in a way. And so let's look at and think about what is happening kind of holistically in your business. And maybe we can kind of pull that apart and see what's really going on. So it's very hard to say, gee, it's not Bob, it's you.
But I mean, you're saying a version of that, but more elegantly.
Yeah, and my purpose here on earth is to kind of honor the sacredness of people. So how do you do that? But say, buddy, you're really messed up here. That's really about you.
But ultimately, it is the leader, right? I mean, you have to help the leader help themselves, so then they can then help the group they're serving. Exactly.
And if they can become someone who's an aspiring person, then they can begin to do that in a way that lifts everyone up and makes people want to do their best work and want to be there. The thing that gives me a lot of pain is the fact that, globally, the percentage of people who are engaged with their job, meaning they want to be there, they want to do their best, they'll even extend to doing something else if it helps the organization. That's only like 15% of the workforce. That means 85% is looking for a way out.
Right. They're just going through the motions, or it's a paycheck and they're just doing the minimum to just keep existing there.
Or their eyes on the clock. It's painful. Personally gives me a lot of pain. In the United States, it's a little bit better. It's about maybe 30% of employees are engaged. It's helping a little bit with the B corporations, the benefit corporations, which are real legal entities.
So you're seeing that the companies that have kind of a worthwhile mission and a big why that people can get behind, they have a better chance of maybe creating some sort of a movement where people are seeking out to go there, and that gives them, the employee, more meaning, and it helps the company thrive?
It absolutely. In fact, there's a lot of statistics to back that up, that inspiring organizations have a leader that is caring and loving, not platonic love, but somebody says whatever I want for myself, I want for these people. And so Humana Corporation, which has embraced the whole model, talked to their top people, their higher achievers, people they really wanted to keep on board, and said, what is your dream? What would you be doing if you weren't here? And for instance, one guy said, I'd be a concert pianist. So this company in their lobby put a concert grand piano so this guy could come down during his lunch break and, his break times, and could be a concert pianist for the people in the building. And I mean, that not only affects him, how do you think that affects everybody else? So it's not only just one bad apple spoiling the whole barrel, it's one inspirational deed and honoring the soul of one other person, inspiring everyone else.
Right. And role modeling that behavior is, like you said, is the ripple effects go throughout the organization, that this person cares, they really have empathy. This is a place worth, not only for me going, I'm going to invite my friends, and this is a place we can really kind of do something and make a mark.
The beautiful thing about it, in using the why be do, is, why I'm here, what am I, how am I going to represent why I'm here, and then what am I going to do to carry that forward? It can actually be brought through the entire corporation, entire organization, but it starts with the leader becoming an inspiring person. You can't inspire others unless you're an inspiring person. And but companies that incorporate all this, they have 50% less turnover. They retain and attract clients at a much higher level. They have a 50% increase in revenue and profits. And they can actually bring it out to the organization, to the community. So if you have a place that is that inspiring, the word gets out. Now, it's like, if you have a lousy place to work, the word gets out.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
It works both ways.
It does.
Now, in your work, can you share a story about, maybe you were working with a firm, obviously don't name the name, but explain what their challenge was or where they were stuck and how you were able to kind of intervene and help them get to a new level?
I will. I worked with a software company, and I was giving a talk to Rotary, just early on. And this guy approached me and said, I really need your help. And I was talking about tolerations, which is all that stuff that is draining or rotting your roots. You're putting up too much in your life that it's draining your energy. And it's not about time management, it's about energy management. So I talked about that. And he couldn't get anything done. He was, his business was stuck at the same revenue level. He'd been in business, I think, about 15, 20 years, and he couldn't get it past a certain level. And so I started working with Bob, and he became my client for many years as I facilitated a board of directors made up of CEOs and company presidents. And as I started working with him, it became clear to me that he was excellent as a servant leader. Excellent and very loving. But he didn't have the courage within himself to make some hard decisions on his own time and with himself. He wasn't inspiring himself enough. So we started working on at this level about, okay, what is your purpose here on earth? Is it just to, clean up after everybody else or drag yourself down? That's not helping anybody. And so we started working on that and worked on a business plan. And he ended up attracting the two people who had been going after as employees for a long time. And as he talked to them and he showed him the plans that we created together for his business, one of those people said, I want to work here because I've never heard or seen anything like this before. And he ended up not only growing as a business, but like I said, attracting a whole other rich and talented employee. And so he became one of my first raving testimonials. In fact, he lives in my neighborhood now. So I see him. But it's and he was doing things like, I have an open door policy. Well, that sounds like a good idea, but sometimes you have to close it so you can get things done, because what he wasn't doing was allowing people to become better leaders of themselves. He was answering all their questions and telling them where things are and doing the same. His kids were calling in during the day, say, Dad, where are my socks? And you're not creating independent leaders by being the mother hen to everybody. And so we had to work with, is this really the best way to lift yourself up and lift up those around you? And it was such fun. It was just really great. And we also worked with the employees. We had an all hands meeting and and he was just, in the employee group about what do we stand for? Why are we here as a corporation? How are we going to live that out? And what are we going to do? And of course, none of these people have ever gone through anything like that. And it really inspired everybody to be different as a human being, I guess, I'm hoping. But also it impacted the organization in a huge way. So that's, I guess, one story.
Now, in your work, you've been doing coaching for a minute now. Have you found that the coaching is now more of a must-have for employees of all levels, where it used to be kind of a nice-to-have for a handful of select leaders at the top of the food chain in an organization?
I think it's a mix. What I'm seeing in a lot of small businesses, they don't think, as the owners or the presidents of small businesses, they need any help themselves. They only come to a coach when maybe they're having some problems.
So you think they're only using coaching in a crisis? They're not using it as kind of a sounding board and kind of always helping them get better, continuous improvement, pushing them?
I think it's a mix, Lee, from what I see and what I've experienced. Hopefully people have a bigger dream than just, making where they are a little bit better. And that's what I hope to instill in my clients is, what's your dream? Let's work on something that is more beautiful and more inspiring than what you're currently
right. Like I don't want to make another $100,000. Like that's the dream. You're helping them dream bigger and have more of an impact. And really,
it's asking the why question. So, what's so great about the $100,000?
Right.
Why? And actually, what it comes down to in finding your why here on Earth, why you're here. What Simon Sinek calls the sacred why. What I called, the golden purpose. And I can't remember what the question was.
Well, the purpose is that it sounds like in your work that's where you're spending your time, is helping people dream bigger and giving them the tools to kind of attain something that maybe they didn't even consider as attainable.
Absolutely. It's and some people are just they're happy just being where they are, and that's great. They want their lives to be simple. I mean, we all do, but it's not always that easy. But the why, is let's go into why you're here, and how do you bring that into your business and everything that you do, and what most people want, and what comes out of the work is that at some level everybody wants to leave a legacy, and how does that start with who you are and what your organization or your company is doing as well, because that could be a really, really negative legacy if you have a company that burns people out.
Right, and absolutely. And then at some point in your career or your life, you're going to start wondering if this is all there is, and what can I be doing different? What can I be doing to help others more and have more impact in my people, myself, my community? That's all doable, I think. But I think a lot of times they need coaches like you to really open their mind and give them kind of the kick in the pants to, get unstuck and not just settle. I think a lot of people settle when they don't have to, if they were just around the right coaching or mentor or inspiration to do a little bit more or do what they're doing a little differently.
Yeah. And I know, we're almost ready to wrap up, but I just want to come back to the whole thing about purpose. What higher purpose allows you to do, and I know for a lot of coaches I talk to a lot, is starting to feel like you belong. Because we're wired differently. I think we've all been through something where I just don't feel like I belong, And when you start finding your purpose and you start living more authentically, and the more you choose authenticity, the truer I am or you are to being you. And the more easily you find yourself with people and situations that show you how to be much more authentic, and you really start belonging. And then you can release what doesn't belong in your world. And the roots naturally start cleaning up. I mean, it's amazing as I've gotten more rooted in my purpose and more inspired by who I am, how my roots and my relationships and the people I attract and the situations I attract start just naturally getting better, experience more joy. So purpose is really the anchor for being anchored into your roots and all that you are underneath. But also, it's a weird analogy because it's the North Star where it keeps you really centered on your path.
Right,
so
but without,
North Star is always constant, and everything else revolves around it.
Right, and without the North Star, you can get distracted by things that aren't really serving you, or you're keeping the wrong company with people that aren't really supporting and celebrating you. They're bringing you down. So you got to choose your community wisely.
Exactly, and it also makes it easier to do what is yours to do. What am I here to do? And then I'm here to do what I'm here to do, and then you release the rest. You rise above, and you release the rest.
Good stuff. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story today. If somebody wants to get a hold of you or somebody on your team, what is the best place to find you? Do you have a website?
I do have a website. It's theabundancecompany.com.
And is that the best way to find you, or on LinkedIn, or?
Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn. I'll have my own Facebook page.
For the Abundance Company?
For the Abundance Company. It's Lynnea Hagen, I think, is success coach on Facebook. But yeah, Lynnea Quinn Hagen on, I think, Facebook and both LinkedIn. And also, they can just email me. It's Lynnea, that's Lynnea, at abundancecoaching.net.
Good stuff. Well, thank you again for sharing your story today. You're doing important work, and we appreciate you.
Well, Lee, I appreciate you for getting all the great work that's out there, out to the world.
We're trying.
Thank you.
Trying to fight the good fight.
Yeah, thank you for doing that. I really appreciate being here.
All right, this is Lee Cantor. We'll see y'all next time on Coach the Coach Radio.